All right, let's dive in. Today, we're building a super practical roadmap to seriously improve your English listening skills. I promise, by the end of this, you're going to have a clear plan to go from feeling totally lost in conversations to understanding with real confidence. So, let's get started.
You know that feeling, right? You're trying to follow a podcast, maybe watch a movie, and it just feels like a complete blur of sounds. If that sounds familiar, well, you are in exactly the right place. We are going to tackle that problem head on and give you the tools to finally, slow things down.
Okay, so before we jump into all the practical tips and tricks, we really need to understand the foundation. Knowing how listening actually works is the first step to making it work for you. Think of it like looking at the blueprints before you start building the house. You gotta know the basics.
So, listening is basically a workout for your brain, and there are two main types of exercise. On one side, you've got intensive listening. This is like precision training at the gym, where you're really focusing on the tiny details, the grammar, specific words, the sounds. Then on the other side, there's extensive listening. This is more like going for a long, relaxed run. It's all about the big picture, just enjoying a podcast or a movie for the general idea. To get truly fluent, you absolutely need to train both of these muscles. Now, to perform those workouts, your brain kind of acts like a detective, and it uses two core strategies. First, there's top-down listening. This is when you're using the big picture clues, the context, the topic, what you already know, to predict what's being said. Then you have bottom-up listening. That's when you zoom way in on the evidence, the individual sounds, the specific words, and piecing them together.
And here is the most crucial point. You can't just be one type of detective. A great listener, a fluent listener, is constantly blending both. You use the context to guess what's coming, and you use the individual words to confirm if you're right. It's this constant dance between the big picture and the tiny details that leads to real, true understanding.
All right, so we've got the foundation down. Now let's start forging the tools for your toolkit. These are the real hands-on techniques you can start using today, right now, to actively build up your listening skills. First up, we've got an absolute powerhouse of a method. It's simple. First, you listen to a short piece of audio, just for the main idea. Don't sweat the details. Then, step 2, you repeat or shadow what you heard. Try to copy the speaker's rhythm, their intonation, everything. Finally, just pause it and summarize the main points in your own words. This one exercise is amazing because it improves both your listening and your speaking at the same time.
A lot of the time what feels like a listening problem is really just a vocabulary problem in disguise. This simple loop tackles that directly. So, when you're listening, try to catch new words and just jot them down. Don't stop the audio, just make a quick note. Later, you can look up their meanings. But here's the final and most important step. Re-listen to the original audio. Hearing that new word again in its proper context is what really cements it in your memory.
Okay, what if you're listening to something longer, like a lecture or a meeting? Forget about trying to write everything down. Seriously, your brain just can't listen properly and write full sentences at the same time. The key is to grab keywords only and use symbols and abbreviations to show how they're connected, like an arrow for cause and effect or a plus sign for an advantage. This keeps you focused on listening while still capturing the really important ideas.
Let's head into the training ground. We've got the tools. Now it's time to put them to work in a structured, consistent way. This is where all that theory becomes a real, solid habit.
You know what they say, a goal without a plan is just a wish. So here's a sample weekly plan to take all the guesswork out of it. Look how it integrates our tools. We've got some general podcast listening on Monday, we're using our vocabulary loop on Tuesday, we're shadowing on Wednesday. It's a balanced routine that targets different skills each day, and then the weekend is just for fun. Just enjoy English without any pressure.
Let's just face the most common roadblocks head-on, shall we? Speakers talk too fast? Hey, you control the replay button. Listen again, it's okay. Lost in new words? Try looking up a few key terms before you listen. Losing your concentration? No problem. Listen in 5-minute chunks instead of 30. As you can see, for every single common problem, there is a simple, actionable solution.
Okay, we've covered the theory, we've covered the practice. This final section is all about the mindset. This is what's going to keep you going on the long road to mastery.
Honestly, this is probably the single most important piece of advice in this entire explainer. You have to let go of perfection. Just accept that you won't understand 100%. Fluency isn't about catching every single word, it's about understanding the message. The moment you stop stressing about the small words you miss, you free up all this mental energy to focus on the overall meaning, and that is the real goal. So, what does this all boil down to? Really, just 4 key habits. Number 1, practice every single day, even if it's just for 10 minutes. 2, mix it up. Listen to different accents, different topics. 3, be patient with yourself. This is a marathon, it is not a sprint. And finally, and most importantly, be consistent. Small, regular efforts add up to massive results over time.
So there you have it. You have the guide, you know how listening works, you have the toolkit, and you've even got a practice plan. The only thing left to do is to begin. So, my question to you is, what is the first step you will take on your listening journey today? Will it be a 10-minute podcast? Shadowing a short video? Your journey starts right now.